As the tension escalated in Manipur over the killing of 2 students, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh on Saturday assured people that the culprits would be caught soon. Definitely, we will catch the culprits, everything will be fine soon. Biren Singh told the media. Massive protests have rocked the northeastern state, especially Imphal, ever since the photos showing the bodies of 2 students surfaced online earlier this week. The protests led to the state government reimposing a ban on mobile internet services till October 1st. Amid the tensions, a protesting mob on Thursday night tried to attack the Manipur CM's ancestral home in Imphal. According to the police, the security forces used several rounds of tear gas shells to stop and disperse the mob. Reportedly, over 170 people have been killed since then, while several have been injured and displaced. And now to talk a little more on the situation prevailing in Manipur ever since May. Joining us, we've got our associate editor Alnguli, and we'll be speaking more on this and what implications it could have to the present ruling government in Manipur. All right, so thank you so much for joining us on this newsroom. Getting straight to the question, sir. Ever since the photos of the 2 students went viral on social media, Manipur is back to where it was in May, with massive protests erupting, with various civil society organizations coming out to the streets in protest and demanding justice, and that culprits, where even the deceased family, the victim's family, have said that they will not even accept monetary compensation, but rather they want the culprit to get caught. So now with the tensions rising, the case has now also been given to the CBI to take charge, and the CBI has taken charge of it. So any developments on this matter, especially with regard to the investigation over the two students' death case, sir?
Yeah, I think the previous year, just before the May violence started, I think we were writing a lot of reports about how the Manipur that we used to know way back in the 80s and the early 90s was so different that we couldn't even recognize it. There was a time that the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, and of course the Chief Minister of Manipur, Biren Singh, had more often than not, I think they have always tried to project the BJP and the government in Manipur as the one government during the past 20 years that has brought some kind of stability, that it no longer is a place where bans are enforced. No longer do the Meitei or the Kuki or the Naga undergrounds can fully control the administration and the law and order situation, because those days it was about shootouts, it was about bans almost every day, protests every day. And I think this kind of political advertisement rhetoric was going on even in April the previous year. And now come May, the violence started, something that none of us really expected. And when the gym was burned down in May, I think nobody would have imagined that this would be the kind of Manipur that we will be seeing. And if you're someone who grew up in the 80s and early 90s, you know that what is happening in Manipur today is exactly the 80s Manipur we used to know. And now we have organizations that we never used to hear about taking over activities that only the state policing administrations can do or are constitutionally entrusted to engage in. For instance, the Central Bureau of Investigations is here, and now just today we are having reports of the National Investigation Agency coming in and making arrests in regard to the violence that has been happening in Manipur. And this is not just something directly associated with the Manipur issue. It is being called transnational, which in other words is international terrorism. That could be the word that we'll be hearing about soon. So we are seeing a lot of this kind of arrests and developments. We are seeing a lot of this, the involvement of central agencies here. So this tells us that I think the Manipur government has not been really able to control the situation in the state. That is why in some way, in a political ruse of some sort, it cannot handle it, so now you have to put the onus on others. So far there are no developments in regard to, like over there, at least about past 2 to 3 days ago, I don't think we have seen any new developments in regard to the case related to the 2 missing students who are believed to have been murdered. But at least in the case of the violence that happened across Manipur, I think we have seen 2 arrests. And as we were talking about earlier, there were 2 arrests, one from it seems one from a Meitei group and the other from a Kuki group. So now there are no details. Even the CBI had said earlier, just yesterday, that it had no details in regard to any findings that the Central Investigation Bureau might have found in the course of their probe in Manipur. So far I think the NIA angle is the only one that we have according to the reports, and even if there were, unless there were very exclusive disclosures that is made to the media, I do not believe that we'll be getting any privy to all the information or the development that has been taking place, or that has taken place ever since the NIA came in and start probing the whole international conspiracy case. Because when you're talking about transnational, you're talking about a different country. Yes. You're also talking about involvement of elements from a different country, from a foreign country. So this goes beyond the scope of the state government. So even if there were any new developments, I think we'll have to wait for a proper statement from the state and the government, central government establishment.
Another issue on this Manipur violence is also, it started in the month of May and then it progressed, and we've seen that yes, there have been infighting between the 2 communities, but the more alarming thing is the fact that the elected leaders, or rather the government leaders, the ministers, their houses are being attacked. I mean, in the initial stage of when the protests and rather the violence began, we saw that Minister R.K. Ranjan's house was attacked. And just a few days back, on Thursday, mob literally tried to attack the ancestral home of Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh. So what kind of an atmosphere needs to be there for the people who are, I guess, really frustrated about the situation in Manipur to actually go and, literally attack their elected leaders? Because if you remember, in 2022, it was the people of Manipur themselves who voted for them. And now, what could you say, or what could the mentality be behind the same people, or rather the public of Manipur, literally going to leader's house and attacking it? And also BJP chief, or rather Manipur BJP chief Sharda Devi too, she had written a letter to the government stating that she has never seen any hostility like this in her career or in her life. So what does this have to say about the mindset of the people of Manipur, sir?
Yeah, I think it's very obvious, Akivi, that they want Biren Singh to be out of the government, or at least out of the seat of the chief minister. I think that is as much obvious as we can have, and I don't think we need any more explanations in this regard, Akivi, because like you said, Union Home Minister Rajan Singh's house was attacked, and of course the first Manipur female minister, Mrs. Kipchun, her house was attacked, and now just a few days ago, the president of the Manipur BJP herself, Mrs. Sharda Devi, her house was attacked. And I think we have had a lot of footages from our correspondent in Manipur showing, we don't know who they are, whether they were Meitei or Kuki, but you can see this large crowd chanting, "We want Biren Singh out, we don't want him anymore." And then we have reports of BJP leaders' houses being attacked. And I think it is a stark contrast to the time when, remember, a group of women, I think they were the Mirabaibis. It was during the time Biren Singh was supposedly to tender his resignation. So the whole community, particular community, came out led by women to say, "No, we want you here, we don't want you to resign. You are the best man here because you have been here since the beginning of the violence, and you know the sound and the size and the sound of the administration in the state. You know it, so you can handle it, so you don't resign." But we are seeing a lot of people, Meitei groups also, I believe, and it's not just a section of it. There are a lot of people who feel that they've been let down by the administration. And just a little while ago, we were talking about the investigations into the missing youth's death, or the supposed death of the 2 students. Now, police cases have been filed, and this should have been the case of the state government and the state police, Akivi.
Yes.
Right. But now you have to bring in the CBI because you cannot handle it. That itself shows a picture of a failure of the state mechanism. So it is easier for us to, okay, of course, yes, to condemn people, the police administration and the government and the chief minister and the ministers. But when you yourself, a citizen of a state that chose to repose your faith in a certain government or leadership, and in this regard, Mr. Biren Singh, and the next day you demand that you want them out, you want this government out, and I think 10 BJP MLAs, they have also written to the government saying that we don't trust this government anymore. I think it was about 2 months ago.
Yes.
So it is obvious enough that the people are now starting to feel the heat, not because of the violence only, but a failure of the mechanism they entrusted their faith in to protect their welfare, to protect their being, their houses and property, not just life, but to protect their faith in the government, that this particular leadership and government was supposed to lead us out of this problem, this issue, but it still has not delivered any of the goods. And that is the reason why I think it's fair to assume that anger is rising now. You have no option. You cannot reach the chief minister or the state administration. So what you do is you find the nearest target. This is go to the ministers' houses, the political leaders' houses, and you start attacking them. That's how you release your energy that you have been bottled up all the while, because that is the only tool you have against the government. So simply put, I think the people of Manipur, any community, the whole community, I think they're starting to feel the frustration, because it's not just from the, from a particular section of the community, if you can judge the reports, it's from most of them. So I think a very clear and simple answer would be yes, I think the people are already frustrated.
All right, sir, moving on, I mean, looking at 2024, that's the major game, because the general elections will be happening next year.
Yeah.
And for which the BJP has, well, apart in other states, they have already started the poll game, asking their booth workers and the leaders of the various states to be more, to go down to the level and speak to the people and talk about all the schemes and the works done by the BJP government over the past 9 or 10 years. Now, today, just recently, President Sharda Devi too wrote to BJP chief JP Nadda, stating that there is growing fear, there is hostility growing in the state of Manipur, and she has admitted that the situation is kind of getting out of control.
Right.
So what does this leave the BJP out in the prospect of next year's Lok Sabha elections? Because apart from the northeastern states, I think Manipur's got 2 Lok Sabha seats. So does this hamper the actual popularity of the Bharatiya Janata Party? And also, with the prevailing situation, do you think that it would be possible for the elections to be held in Manipur?
Yeah, unless you happen to have a miracle in your hands so that you can clean up the mess that you've created and you can go to the elections confidently, Akivi. Because what we are seeing right now is a situation where no political party, it could be the Congress, it could be the JTU. Remember, we're talking about 2014 when the BJP in Manipur, they came to power on the idea of making Manipur the sports hub of the Northeast, the tourism hub, developmental hub. And even during the past 2 years, there have been a slew of developmental programs that have far surpassed even the developmental percentage of Assam and even some of the other states put together. Now, that was the kind of image that the BJP projected to come to power, and of course Biren Singh became the chief minister for the second time. But this time no political party will be able to have a narrative that will convince the people in the next elections that they actually did anything right for the people of Akive. Because the Manipur ethnic violence has destroyed that narrative within just 4 months. And that if you have to go beyond the narrative of what happened here, and you are able to convince the people that, hey, we brought development for you. The violence has been so deep there won't be any developmental discourse that you can use to force the people to see beyond what happened during the past 5 months. Okay, this is going to be a very, very difficult elections for the BJP in 2024. Okay, because you don't have anything to say anymore. All the developmental activities that you have put in the past 3 years, and now the violence is still going on, and it has gone beyond the boundaries of law and order. And when we're talking of boundaries of law and order, you have the National Investigation Agency in Manipur, you have the CBI in Manipur, so it's no longer a state case. So they know that a particular section of the political community in Manipur have already lost their political mileage in here. They don't have the fuel anymore. And that exactly is the reason why, even after more than 5 months of violence in Manipur, you have not seen any sitting minister or MLA sacked. Okay. Yes. And we don't have certain ministers from the central government coming in and visiting Manipur, because before the elections, if you come in and sack the chief minister or any minister for that matter because of the Manipur violence, you are practically admitting your failure and that your party and your political party failed to control the situation. That's why you are in trouble. So that is the reason why Mr. Modi is still in Delhi. He has not been to Manipur even yet. Byron Singh is still sitting there. Nobody would dare remove him right now, because that is what the opposition party wants if it will gain any victory in the next elections against the BJP. It is very simple.
All right, sir. Another feature of this Manipur violence is the internet was suspended in Manipur for more than 140 plus days, after which it was the suspension was lifted. And now, due to the social media photos that went viral, the government again, they suspended internet operations till October 1st. So, sir, do you believe that banning the internet or suspending the use services of internet actually helps the government, or do you think it rather creates more problems for the government, sir?
This has I don't know from where India got this habit of every time something happens, the first thing they do is ban the internet, And I think even the Supreme Court has said in this regard that banning the internet is not helping anyone.
Yes.
Because if we go back to Dimapur in 2015, March 15 incident, remember?
Yes.
The government of Nagaland just blacked out everything, and suddenly students giving examination did not have access to resources. You couldn't do banking work, and in the name of law and order, you are practically destroying all privileges of a public motion to be able to do your work freely. You're just, in the name of law and order, you are just disturbing everything. And I believe that the lawyers community in India have also expressed their concerns about why states in India has made it a habit. And the reason why state governments, even in Nagaland we have done that, and Manipur has been doing that, Bihar and UP, they constantly do it. It is just to show that you are actually doing something. And I think media observers and judicial observers have already said this in regard. The number of people who have ill intentions to spread or incite violence in a community is much fewer than the public who can actually use the internet to go about their duties, their work, and their examinations. So it is not practical to ban the internet. The only thing you are doing is that you are trying to tell the people that you are actually doing something.
Yes.
But you can actually have the internet, and countries across the world, whenever something happens, they don't ban the internet, because the internet is actually the biggest tool that a government can have to bring a situation under control. Without proper information, without a fight back from legal institutions with the correct information, with the correct methods to control situations, you don't have any tool in your hands anymore. And even Western countries, they don't do that because their mechanism on the ground is so strong. You don't need to ban the internet or TV or the newspapers. But here in India, in countries like Asia, especially in India, specific to India, the first thing we do is ban it, because it means that The people won't know that you have failed. They don't know what you're doing, whether the police is on the ground or you're just sitting there sending out orders, and you don't know what is happening at the ground level. So in fact, banning the internet will only create a lot of speculations. You will create a lot of presumed situations because people are not getting the right information, or people are not getting any information at all. So within the space of blackout, you are actually creating a space and an opportunity for stress and violence to breed even more. And I believe that even the judicial community has warned the states against just using the ban on internet as an administrative tool, because it only reflects the weakness and the failure of the state government in using other forms of control to resolve certain situations. Akive.
Thank you so much for joining us on this special newsroom and giving us details about the developments that are currently happening in Manipur. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me, Akive.
That was our associate editor, Alnguli, and well, he has just said about how the National Investigation Agency has arrested 2 people from Manipur. According to reports, the NIA has arrested 1 man from Imphal and another man from Churachandpur area. Well, according to the NIA reports, it seems these people were accused of waging war or transpiring to wage war against India with the help of foreign nationals. So the NIA case, this will be quite the serious one, because this is the NIA taking over this particular case. Well, about the incident where 2 students who had gone missing on July 6th and emerged, and we also came to know that they had been murdered. Well, the CBI has taken over the investigation and the team of CBI has reached Manipur. But apart from all the bad news and all the turmoil that is happening in the state, at least there is a positive, where boys and girls from the beautiful state of Manipur are actually performing very well for our country in India in the Asian Games, and we hope that no matter the situation in Manipur, their aspirations for the country continue. Well, that was all for this hour's bulletin. For more news and updates, stay tuned to Hornbill TV. Goodbye.